Hey everyone, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about X2, X-Men United, and this movie came out in 2003, and it's directed by Bryan Singer once again, and I thought this movie was much better than the first X-Men movie, and the first one I thought was just cheesy and kind of dull at points, and while there were parts that I liked for sure, it just didn't connect with me all that much, whereas this one, it was much more engaging. I thought the story had a lot more to chew on compared to the first one, and there were more things that I could get into, and the dull moments were like very few in this movie. Like in terms of scenes that I don't really care that much for, there's a lot less of those in this movie, and it's longer. It's like 2 hours and 15 minutes long, and I didn't feel the runtime too much. I do feel that it could have been shorter in a couple parts, but overall I thought it was really well paced, and there's really great performances in this movie, just like the first one. Hugh Jackman is great as Wolverine, and Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen, they're great as well, and there's lots of really good casting decisions, and the action scenes I thought were really, really good, and they were exciting and a lot of fun. And this movie isn't really about the action scenes, it's more about its characters and making them interesting and getting you on board with this universe. And in this movie I feel it's much better established. And what I mean by that, I don't mean like in the first movie they didn't really do a good job at bringing you into this universe. I just feel that this movie kind of works better as a standalone film than the first movie does, and I feel as though as a movie, not just as a sequel or as a comic book movie, I do think that if you take those elements out of it, like all that context, and you just judge it as a movie, I think it's a pretty good movie. And I also think the characters in this movie are very well established, and you understand who they are and why they do certain things. And the villain of the movie, Stryker, I thought he was a good villain in this movie, and Magneto is brought back as well, and he's a big part of the movie, and Charles Xavier, and really everyone is involved. And this movie kind of hints at Wolverine's past, and I thought those scenes were really good. And this movie also introduces Nightcrawler, and I thought he was a good character. I liked him in this movie and what he did, and I also enjoyed the villain, and I never felt as though he was over the top and cheesy and I couldn't take him seriously. He felt like an actual character. Like, this movie felt somewhat grounded in ways, and it felt like I wasn't really watching a comic book movie, and I was watching something that took itself seriously, and it was successful in a lot of ways. And if I'm going to complain about anything, I didn't feel as though the music was anything memorable to me, and there were some moments where I was supposed to like feel an emotional gut punch, and I'm not going to say what these moments were because I don't want to spoil anything, but there were some parts where you were expected to care and feel like an emotional gut punch, and I just didn't feel anything really, because I just didn't feel as though the build up to that moment was great. But what we got, I understood why a character would do the thing that they would do. I just can't say anything beyond that, unfortunately. And this movie never betrays any of the characters that were set up in the first movie, and they're all very consistent, and they're made really interesting, and just about everything in this movie is very good, and it's really enjoyable. And I would say that if you weren't the biggest fan of the first X-Men movie, I would recommend that you check this one out. I do feel as though it's better, and you're probably going to enjoy this one more than the first movie, and there's more to like in this one, and I just think it's pretty good overall, and definitely check this one out when you have the chance. And with all that being said, I'm going to give X2 X-Men United a 7 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos as always. If you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below what you thought of X2 X-Men United, and my social media links, they will all be in the description, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see you when I get my next review up, and that is going to be for Insidious Chapter 2. So look forward to that, but until I get that up, thank you for watching and have a great day.